The rain hammered against the tall windows of the old Victorian house like insistent fingers trying to claw their way inside. Lightning flashed outside, illuminating the cluttered living room in stark white bursts, shelves crammed with dusty books, faded photographs on the mantel, and the antique grandfather clock ticking relentlessly in the corner. I stood frozen in the middle of the room, heart pounding so hard it felt like it might crack my ribs. Across from me, only 6 feet away but feeling like an ocean, was Mara. She had shown up on my doorstep 20 minutes earlier, soaked to the bone, her dark hair plastered to her face and her green eyes wide with something I couldn't name, fear, urgency, maybe both. We had been best friends since childhood, inseparable through every scraped knee and late-night confession, but the last 3 years had stretched that bond thin. She had left for the city after college, chasing some mysterious job she never talked about, sending only occasional cryptic texts. Tonight, without warning, she was back, trembling in my hallway, whispering that she needed to tell me something before it was too late. Now the words hung between us, heavy and unfinished. I had asked the question that had been burning in me for years, Mara, what really happened? Why did you leave? And why do you look like you've seen a ghost? She took a shaky breath, water still dripping from her coat onto the worn hardwood floor. Her hands twisted together, knuckles white. The storm outside seemed to hold its breath with me as another flash of lightning lit her face, revealing the exhaustion etched deep around her eyes and the faint scar I had never noticed before, running along her collarbone. Then she spoke. "What I'm about to tell you, it changes everything," she said softly, her voice barely louder than the rain. "I never wanted to drag you into this, but I can't carry it alone anymore. 3 years ago, I didn't leave for a job. I was recruited. By something that isn't human." My pulse roared in my ears. I stared at her, waiting for the punchline, for the nervous laugh that would tell me this was some elaborate joke. It didn't come. Instead, her eyes filled with tears that spilled over, tracing paths down her wet cheeks. "They call themselves the Veil Keepers," she continued, voice trembling but gaining strength as the truth poured out. "An ancient order that exists between our world and another. I thought it was a research project at first, quantum physics, parallel dimensions, the usual academic dream. But on the first night, they showed me. They opened a rift, just a small one, and I saw it. A world overlapping ours, filled with creatures made of shadow and light, emotions you can touch like fabric, memories that can kill you if you let them in too deep." The room seemed to tilt. I reached for the back of the nearby armchair to steady myself, but her next words came faster, each one a hammer blow. "I was good at it, Elias. Too good. They trained me to walk between the layers, to seal rifts when they tore open. But something went wrong 6 months ago. A rift that shouldn't have existed ripped wide, and a piece of that other side latched onto me. It's inside me now, a fragment, a living echo. It gives me glimpses, whispers things no one should know. That's why I stayed away. I was terrified it would spread to you, to everyone I love. Every time I thought about coming back, the shadow would surge and show me visions of you, hurt, broken, because of me." Lightning cracked again, thunder rolling so close the windows rattled. My knees felt weak, but I forced myself to stay upright, clinging to the chair. Emotion crashed over me in waves, shock, betrayal, a fierce protectiveness that made my chest ache. This was Mara, the girl who had stayed up all night with me when my mother died, the one who had shared her ice cream and her secrets since we were 8. Now she stood here confessing that she had been living a double life fighting interdimensional threats, carrying a literal piece of another world inside her. "I came back tonight because the fragment is getting stronger," she said, taking a small step closer. Her voice dropped to a whisper that somehow cut through the storm. "It's changing me, Elias. I can feel it rewriting parts of my mind. Tonight, before the rain started, it showed me something new. A convergence. In 3 days, the rifts will align, and if I don't find a way to extract the fragment, it will tear open permanently. Thousands could die. Cities could vanish between worlds. And the only way to remove it safely, is through someone who shares a deep, genuine emotional bond with me. Someone whose heart is anchored to mine. She paused, and the silence stretched, taut as a wire about to snap. The grandfather clock ticked louder, each second a countdown. Rain lashed the windows, but inside, the air felt thick, charged with everything unsaid between us for years. Then she said the words that made my knees give out. "It has to be you, Elias." The fragment only responds to pure, unfiltered connection, the kind we've always had. The love that was never just friendship. I've felt it since we were kids. You have too, haven't you? That pull we never named. If you let me in, if we face this together, heart to heart, no walls, the fragment can be drawn out through that bond. But if we do it, there's no going back. You'll see everything I've seen. You'll carry pieces of it too. And if it goes wrong, I could lose you. I could watch the shadow take you instead of me. My legs buckled. I dropped hard to my knees on the hardwood floor, the impact jarring through my bones, but I barely felt it. The room spun, not from dizziness but from the sheer emotional force of her confession. Love. She had said love. Not friendship, not nostalgia, the real, deep, terrifying kind that had simmered unspoken between us for 2 decades. All those years of late-night talks, protective jealousy when she dated others, the ache when she left for the city, it all crystallized in this moment. And now it was the key to saving her life, to saving countless others, but at the risk of dragging me into her nightmare. Tears burned my eyes as I looked up at her from the floor. She was crying openly now, her hands covering her mouth as if she wished she could take the words back, yet relief and fear warred in her expression. The storm outside mirrored the one inside me, raging, unstoppable, beautiful in its fury. "Mara," my voice came out hoarse, broken. I tried to stand but my knees wouldn't cooperate, still weak from the shock. Instead, I reached out, and she was there instantly, dropping to her knees in front of me, her cold, wet hands cupping my face. The contact sent warmth flooding through me despite the rain on her skin. "I'm so sorry," she whispered, forehead resting against mine. "I never wanted this for you. I tried to protect you by staying away, but the fragment, it showed me that running only makes it worse. You've always been my anchor, Elias. In every storm. And now I'm asking you to step into the eye of this one with me. I know it's too much. I know it's terrifying. But if there's even a chance." Her words dissolved into a sob, and I pulled her into my arms, holding her tight against my chest as we knelt there on the cold floor. The rain pounded harder, thunder cracking like the world breaking open, but in that suspended moment, nothing else existed except the two of us. The emotional intensity was overwhelming, years of buried feeling surging to the surface, the terror of the unknown future, the fierce determination to save her no matter the cost. Suspense hung thick in the air, 3 days. Only 3 days to decide, to prepare, to face whatever ritual or connection this would require. Would the bond be enough? Would I lose myself in the shadow she carried? Or would our love, finally named, prove stronger than the veil between worlds? I stroked her wet hair, pressing my lips to the top of her head, tasting salt and rain and the familiar scent that had always meant home. "I'm here," I managed, my voice raw. "Whatever it takes, Mara. I've loved you since we were kids too. I never had the courage to say it. If that love can save you, then take it. Take all of me." She lifted her head, eyes searching mine through the tears, a fragile spark of hope breaking through the fear. Her trembling fingers traced my jaw, the touch so tender it made my chest ache. The storm raged on outside, but inside the old house, a different kind of tempest had been unleashed, one of truth, vulnerability, and a bond that might either heal or destroy us both. In that single, unbroken scene, with lightning flashing and rain drumming like a heartbeat, everything had changed. My knees had given out from the weight of her words, but my heart had never felt stronger, or more terrified. Whatever came in the next 3 days, we would face it together. The Veil Keepers, the fragment, the converging rifts, none of it stood a chance against what we had just admitted. Yet the suspense lingered, sharp and electric. Love had always been our greatest strength. Now it might become our greatest risk.